This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, we've got the opportunity to talk to Mel Jones thanks to Kayo Sports. You can get on board today. There's no off-season with Kayo Sports. Mel, good morning.
Morning, fellas. How are we?
We're up
Mel.
and about, actually, of course.
I'm not that up and about,
Nathan's
Mel.
not a cricket lover.
Here's the deal. I mean, look, I know, and I want to be, Mel, I want to be.
I don't know if you are.
No.
I don't know if you
I was
do.
just saying to Sam, right, because we got a new panel up here, and I said to Sam, are you into sport? And he goes, yeah, hardcore. I'm just one of those boring straight men. And I went, well, I'd love to be one of those. And I want to love cricket, and I want to love football, but I just don't. And cricket to me, Mel, is, I get it. And I get why people like it, but I have the opinion that if a seagull can stand next to you while you're doing it, it's not a sport. Thoughts?
Gotcha. Well, I'm about to turn you. Can I do that?
Okay.
I'm ready to be turned more ways than one.
Because in Perth at the moment, you have two of the best young guns going out. Get on board now.
Okay, you're getting
in
me.
a couple of years' time, you'll be saying, I knew them. I knew them back in the day.
On the ground floor
And
at
then you'll
roots
be-
level.
Yeah. You'll be getting into every place you ever want to go. Chloe Ainsworth, Innes McKeon, get on them.
Well, you know
first of
what,
all,
Sean?
yes.
What do I love? A powerful woman.
You love a powerful
There
woman.
Buffy
you
the
go.
Vampire Slayer.
Well, the Perth Scorchers, Mel, were so good last night getting up by 15. They only scored 122 defending that total at the Wacker. And Chloe took the first wicket of the game getting out Meg, landing with this in cutter. There was this, beautiful delivery that
It was
just bowled
cool,
her.
wasn't it? Yeah. And then the next one was probably even better to get Annabelle Sutherland, who probably at the moment is one of the informed players in world cricket, the new Stars captain and an Australian all-rounder. It just set the tone for the rest of the game, and I just think the Perth Scorchers fed off that energy that she gets. I was disappointed. Usually when she hits the wickets, the stumps sort of cartwheel, Billy style at the Wacker. Didn't quite have that last night, so I'm just going to poke the bear a bit and say, come on, Chloe.
Is Meg the one where we saw the photos and she played somewhere recently that was hot and she looked like the top of a thermometer? It was red and looked like it was about to
your knowledge.
That was Meg, wasn't it?
Close. It was Beth Mooney who played for the Scorchers.
Well,
Meg Lanning's retired from being Australian captain.
Okay. That was Beth. Yeah, that thing. It's like, that's the other thing about cricket I can't handle. It's like when it's that hot, it's like, come on, can we all? It's apparently a gentleman's game or a gentlewoman's game. It's like, can we not all agree that it's too hot and we can go inside?
We're not the smartest people going around sometimes.
No, some of those games that play over in India and stuff like that when it's absolutely
When you're commentating
boiling.
games like that and when you're there working, are you in air conditioning, Mel?
Oh, of course.
Okay, great.
Of course. I'm not that stupid.
No, I
Yeah.
just don't know. I don't know. I think
Well,
that, you know,
funnily
Where else are they going to be sitting on the ground?
To be honest, I think it's fair. I think if you're commentating, you know what I mean? You should be in the same weather.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're doing, and I disagree wholeheartedly.
Hey, Mel, watching the Perth Scorchers, if we're going to stick on that for a second, Nathan, and you appreciate this, because the Wacker's getting done, and we were talking about off-air, like last week, a week before, about the development. It's going to be really nice
Water
and stuff.
slides and everything. You can watch
when
it
you're
in a
watching
pool.
it, you're only seeing the concrete jungle behind all the time, which is a bit frustrating.
It is. When it's finished, though, it will be one of the most spectacular sporting sort of community social precincts in Australia, I think. You can basically do your laps and then on every turn have a quick peek at the cricket and get a bit of sense of what's going on, which is fantastic.
I just think that venue is so clever to merge worlds together for people that don't really even care about club cricket and just want to have a good day out with the family. Then they can concentrate on that. It reminds me of when I grew up in Kalgoorlie, Mel, and at the Olympic pool there, one time they had a movie that they were showing and everyone put their air mattresses down and it was Jaws. People were like swimming for their lives thinking they're going to get eaten by a shark in Kalgoorlie where it's impossible. But that there, I love that. That there will be such a family moment. And I think it's the only thing in Australia or even the world that is permanently like that.
Oh, certainly having that around the outside where you can do laps, as Mel was saying. You can do your fitness and the game's cricket's been played or any other sport that's been played at the WAC could be good to watch. Yeah, absolutely.
This is it. Chris Matthews did a magnificent job setting it all up as the former CEO. And I think she realises too that there's a few people out there, as we've already talked about, aren't, huge fans of cricket. So you make it an event and you can bring all these other things around it and you can have a little bit of a watch and watch the cricket if you want, but then there's all these other fantastic things to do.
How fun is that, though? Where you going? I'm going to the cricket. Wait there, I've got to get my cock jocks. Are you serious?
You don't get that often as a combination. Hey, Mel, we're looking forward to the men's test against India coming up very shortly, and in particular the Australia A game. And there's been a lot of talk about the opening bat situation for the Australian team. And we were speaking to Brett Lee actually last week. He threw up the idea of maybe having Josh Inglis come into the side and he be put in that position.
Yeah. Look, he's absolutely smoking it at the moment, isn't he? And he knows the Australian setup so well. He's sort of been touring with the white ball side for a number of years now. He's a super quality player. And what I like about that option too is that you're taking away the fact that he has to keep, so you can actually have Kerry and Inglis in the side. It's not, one in, one out kind of thing. And he's that aggressive style, sort of attacking batter that can take on, India's got a world-class bowling attack. So it's not a bad option there from Binger.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. It's been a lot of talk, obviously Cameron Bancroft not really getting it done. Marcus Harris kind of up and down. The young guy,
Constance from New South Wales.
Yeah,
Canastas.
Canastas. I was thinking, geez, I've forgotten it already.
He's great at a party.
It's early on a Monday.
He's great at a party.
Whether they go down that line or not.
Well, you know what, Mel? You can sell cricket. You made it sound pretty interesting then.
There we go.
I know it's not.
Hurrah, my job is done.
Yeah.
Get on us at Fox and Kayo. We'll keep turning you.
Awesome.
We'll look forward to a big summer of
Thanks,
cricket,
honey.
Mel, and everything else you cover. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Yesterday at RAC Arena, the Australian Diamonds in the netball had the chance to be able to get one back against the New Zealand Silver Ferns in the Constellation Cup. The first two games were played in New Zealand. The next two games are going to be played here in Australia. The first one happened yesterday. First two games last week, Australia got smashed by New Zealand, and they expected to do a lot better. The game coming over here at RAC Arena, Natalie went to it yesterday, actually, and Australia once again were thumped. Third time in a row they've lost, and only the third time ever they've lost the Constellation Cup. It's been around for ages.
Who's supposed to be the best team?
Oh, Australia by a mile. In fact, New Zealand had dropped to third in the world, I think, behind England.
It's so
in
horrible
recent
when you're
rankings.
part of a best team. And I remember the year that the wheels fell off the Wildcats. It must be horrendous, to come from a legacy of being the champions and then to go through bad patches.
Well, that time you're talking about the Wildcats, they hadn't missed the finals for like 30 years, and then they lost.
30 years, they had shirts and stuff printed.
Yeah.
They already had 31, but they had to chuck them in the bin.
They did. They capitulated at the end of the season. Yeah, you become that team.
You become that
and that's
team,
what's happened to the Aussie Diamonds.
And then psychologically, you're like, wait there, because I would think generationally, what is our legacy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not a good one. It's only a moment in time, so it's only this year.
Yes.
So they get to play this every year. Australia can bounce back, but to see that team get beaten comprehensively, actually, over the last three games, and there's one more to go in Melbourne on Wednesday, and I imagine that the Aussies probably win that game because the Kiwis are,
Yeah, but if not,
they'll let us get
you've
us
still
one.
got a trip to Melbourne. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, they're flying all around the country, these guys, so they get
Chapel Street.
They get their frequent flyer points up for sure.
You're wearing your polo shirt today, Shaun. If you were in Melbourne back in the day, you'd pop that collar, wouldn't you?
Oh, big time! I had it. I think I had it up this morning.
Remember the popping the collar?
Always.
People aren't popping the collars still, are they? If you're popping your collar, pop it back down.
There's a lesson. There's a lesson learned.
I know once you pop, you can't stop.
The Perth Wildcats were in action on Friday night. Amy, our producer, she's chowing down at the moment, but nobody
giant
expected the
bowl of
Wildcats to be winning this game against the Sydney Kings because they had lost Bryce Cotton and they hadn't quite found their way.
Yes.
Keanu Pinder stepped up. He had 35 points. He had a really big game. But the fact is that they didn't have to rely on the one person. They played more team basketball.
Oh, wow. So the team's good?
Sydney Kings are a good team. They got some good players.
Yeah. No. I mean, our team.
Oh, it was one.
Without Bryce?
I think you
Can
can
they
make an
step up?
adjustment and you can play really well with Bryce in the team. Obviously, a far better team. But what they do get caught all the time is just playing one dimensional, always going to him.
Yep.
And it seems like some of the other guys get cold on the ground, like literally. The ball's going to Bryce all the time. They're not taking the shot, so you get cold.
So will the coach be saying, give it to Bryce? Was that basically what it is? Give it to Bryce?
Yeah. I think most of the time that's the kind of scenario they go for.
Yeah.
But it's open. It's also up to those guys to get themselves free and take a shot and hit it. And if they're not hitting it, then they go back to Bryce more often. And so the opposition just defending the one person.
How much is Bryce on now? Carrying an entire team, basically.
I think he's on well over $500,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's only $250,000 back in America. You never want to do the reverse math.
Well, they're saying that Bryce Cotton's the highest paid player in basketball. They're saying $1.5 million. That's not correct at all, by the way. That is not. That's a USD dollars. That is not correct. I know that for a fact because they have a salary cap. The salary cap's almost that amount of money. So that aside, yeah, someone told me he was on 800, which is a lot of money.
Yeah, for NBL.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, I just want to finish off with the Fremantle Dockers locked into the finals of the women's competition, the AFLW, after a good performance away on the weekend. It seems like the games that they've won they've won more games away this year than they have at home in their home games.
Shaun. Don't you wish you were part of that team?
Yeah, well, that's kind of like, they're playing finals, mate. It's been a few years since they played finals, so that's really good.
Yeah.
Emma O'Driscoll played a really good game, our Emma O'Driscoll, so she was great. The rest of the team were fantastic as well. Next week is their final game of the year against the Western Bulldogs at home on Sunday, and then it's off to the final.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.